Treyarch recently nerfed directed mode by increasing the time in between rounds. Does this completely obliterate directed mode for camo grinders? How much of a difference does this really make? I've got the stats and the graphs, and this directed mode nerf is nowhere near as bad as you think it's gonna be. As always with these analytical videos, be sure to use the chapters in the video to skip around the video to whatever's important to you, or skip to the end for the final results. Now this started as a very simple video. I wanted to see how big of a difference the extended time in between rounds in directed mode made. Also, I wanted to see how the old and new directed mode compared to the normal gameplay of zombies. How many kills could you get? How many special enemies could you kill? Basically, how good was directed mode before and how good is it now? And I was incredibly surprised with what I found. I played 3 different games, one normal game, one round 15 directed mode, and then one round 11 directed mode. And here's what I got for you. Starting off with the normal game, this is just a normal Liberty Falls game. I played for 1 hour of in-game time because I was like pausing and writing down certain numbers and stuff. I got 2,231 kills. I killed 37 special enemies and 6 elite enemies, so 6 abominations. I got 77,000 XP. I actually did get an opal camo and I ranked up some guns, so that's actually really good XP per minute here. You can see that's north of 1,000, really good. For our round 15 game, I started a fresh directed mode game, so I still had to get all set up and everything, so don't worry, we'll account for that variable in some more charts that I've got hidden up here. But for the hour it took me to get set up and to actually get going through these round 15 rounds, I got 1,300 kills, 6 special enemies, and only 6 special enemies, only 2 elite enemies, and those were the only 2, they were the 2 that you have to do for the Easter egg, and I only got 45,000 XP. Now these waves right here, this is the waves that I'm talking about at round 15. So once you hit round 15, that's when you start going through the same wave over and over and over again, and I got through 21 of those in an hour. You can see our XP per minute is terrible, and this waves per special is going to make more sense later, but just so that you beautiful people know, I got a total of 0 manglers, 0 special enemies after round 15. Once round 15 hit, I didn't get any manglers. Now we'll talk about saving and quitting later because I did actually try it, but let's move on to our round 11. This one I did for only 41 minutes. I'll get to that later. I actually got more special enemies here on round 11 because more manglers were spawning. I didn't get any elites because I didn't progress that way through the main quest, and obviously abominations don't spawn until round 16. Only got that much XP. It was pretty terrible, and I went through 18 waves of round 11, but again, we only played for 41 minutes, but this is why I only played for 41 minutes. When I was doing this round 15 game, I did try to save and quit multiple times because I've heard that people had problems getting manglers to spawn in at round 15 as well as round 11, so I heard the solution to that is just to save and quit and then come back. So I did that a couple times, and even after that, I still didn't get any special enemies. These 6 manglers only happened within the Easter egg time, within the setup process. These 7 special enemies did happen at round 11. However, it was not every single round 11, which is exactly what this number is right here. I would get a mangler about every 2.5 rounds or 2.5 waves here on round 11. So every 2.5 of these mini waves at round 11, I would get 1 single mangler. That's an important number for a lot of calculations that we're about to do, which is where this chart comes in, because now we need to talk about how many of these waves could you do within an hour. Obviously, these 2 games were set up. I had to progress through the map. I had to progress through the Easter egg, especially with this round 15 game. A lot of you beautiful people have like a round 15 or around 11 games saved in your save file, and you just have 1 billion points, 1 billion salvage, and you just use it to grind out camos. So this 1 hour time limit would just be of this one single round 15 for an entire hour, which is exactly what this graph or chart here is saying. This is why it's theoretical. I looked at my footage and I found about an average time of about a minute that it would take me to progress through round 15 in order to kill all the zombies and everything. Once we hit the nerfed in between time of directed mode, we were taking upwards of 30 seconds in between rounds. Additionally, this number never reset. I've also heard saving and quitting resets that down. So every 5 rounds it'll be fast, but then after that 5th round, you'll have to save and quit and get back to the shorter in between rounds. I don't know if it's my game. I don't know if other people are having a different thing. I don't know if they patched it again, but even after I saved and quit, we were always getting these 30-second in between rounds. I was never able to get that back down to the normal like 15 to 20-second rounds in between times that we had before. So with that in mind, if you were to do a 1 hour session of just camo grinding or grinding out this round 15, you would get about 40 waves of these round 15. So 40 times you'd play through this round 15, given the round times and the in-between times. Obviously, you could go faster or slower than this, and that could be, 31 seconds before you see zombies or 28 seconds. You know what I mean? Same thing here. Round 11, I got through a little bit faster, 45 seconds on average, 30-second in between rounds. We get 48 waves there. Using our calculations here, about every 2.5 rounds for round 11, we would get about 18, maybe 19 special enemies within a 1 hour session of this post-patch directed mode. Now at round 15, because I never got any special enemies, that would mean that we just never get any special enemies in this round 15 directed mode. However, let's pretend that this round 15 had the same rate of special enemies as this round 11 here. So let's put 2.5 there. And because there are fewer waves within an hour of round 15, that means you're only getting 16 special enemies. Let's say you're a little bit luckier with these guys and you're getting one mangler every other round. Every 2 rounds you're getting a mangler, and you're still getting 20 to 24, which is, in my experience, a lot more than really what's there. Let's do it even further. Let's say I just got really unlucky and you're getting them nearly every single round here. You're still getting 32, 26 here within the hour, which is still far less than what I got in just my normal game. So clearly the directed mode nerf is strong. However, I did say it's not as bad as you think, and that is because with this whole information here, I decided to do some theoretical pre-patch calculations because I wasn't able to actually test this out pre-patch because who knew that they were going to nerf it. And taking a look at my footage at specifically the time in between rounds, from what I could tell, it was airing on the side of 20 seconds. So really, it's only a 10-second addition. It's not that bad when you look at it on paper. You can definitely feel it, and I don't know if 20 seconds is completely accurate because I don't know exactly when they technically end a round and begin a round, but 20 seconds was very consistent throughout all of my gameplay. So that gives us more waves here at round 15. We got more waves here at round 11, and clearly with the current 2.5 rounds per mangler, we're getting quite a bit more. Still nothing quite like our 37 here of our normal game. Let's go ahead and bring that down to 2. Let's do our kind of theoreticals here, walk through this. Okay, if we get one every other round, okay, 27, 22, that's better. If we get one every round and a half, then now we're starting to see comparable numbers to our just regular normal game. Obviously, I think this goes without saying, if you get one every round, clearly all of these guys are going to be so much better than the actual regular game because it's just every round you get a special enemy. However, I know special enemies aren't the only reason that you grind out directed mode, so that's why I have this down here. On around 15, I got 45 kills. On around 11, you get about 35 kills, so that's what I put in here. Really easy to calculate. If you've got this many waves, you're going to get this many kills, which again, completely dwarfs anything from a normal game. In fact, we can see here on this graph here, from the theoretical pre-patch to the theoretical post-patch, you're losing on about 200-ish, 220, 230 kills per hour of directed mode gameplay. You're still able to get close to those 2,000 kills, 2,000 headshots within 1 hour. Additionally, the normal mode is just still better than both pre-patch and post-patch, but let's go ahead and take a look at these special enemies here. This is using our theoretical 2.5 per round 15 here. You could see our special enemies are just nowhere near our 1 hour regular games. And theoretically speaking, you only lost like maybe 1 to 2, I mean, I guess upwards of 3 special enemies per hour. However, again, I know at some point in time when directed mode first came out, I was getting like a special enemy every single round. So clearly that would be marginally better than the normal mode. However, I feel so ignorant about this. I don't know the normal mangler spawn rate, I guess. If we do one every other, like kind of every other round, like one every 1.5 rounds, then we're basically comparable to what we were before. So even if you're really lucky and getting one nearly every single round, you're still just as good as playing the normal game here. And then if the round 15 is true, if you really don't get any manglers, well then clearly it's not worth doing for those special, the opal camos. So the big revelation here is that directed mode was always worse than just normally playing the game. Well, sort of. Because when I was doing this study, I thought, okay, clearly if they're getting 48 waves and they're getting a mangler every time, obviously that's going to be way better than just playing the normal mode. But you don't get a Mangler every time, which automatically meant that like the opal camo is still best done in the normal mode, and then only getting these 30 to 40 kills, like, and I should also mention these kills are ideal. Like this is like no bug rounds at all. Bug rounds are going to make these kills even slower. So yeah, it's a nerf, but this still wasn't, at least through what I know, and please call me out if I'm wrong, it looks to me like directed mode was never the most efficient strategy to grinding out camos and opal camos and special enemy kills, and especially elite kills, unless you were doing this. I mean, I guess that's true. If you're on round 15, whatever, just failing that step over and over of the Easter egg, that would probably be really efficient for your elite kills. But this is down to something that any graph or chart really can't convey, and that is convenience and difficulty. Even though in these normal games, technically you have the ability to get more kills faster, to get more special enemies faster, it is more of a challenge. You have to, like, this took me till round 41. People don't like playing till round 41 for some reason. Personally, I had a lot of fun playing till round 41. It was really cool. But as the zombies get harder to deal with, as they get faster, as they get armor on them, you have to pay more attention to your headshots. The special enemies, like you're getting 3 of them at a time after a while, 4 of them some certain rounds, and that's really overwhelming for people. Even though the directed mode, from my calculations, was always worse and less efficient than the normal mode, it was mentally easier. It was emotionally easier. You could have a save file, just load into it whenever you wanted to, and on demand you'd get a very steady stream of really easy zombies, really easy manglers, one mangler at a time. You wouldn't need to worry about going down. You'd have a weapon that just one-shots anything, even if it's in the foot, forever. Also, while technically you are getting more kills in this normal mode, because the high rounds are getting higher and they have armored zombies and everything, it is a little bit more difficult to get headshots in the normal mode compared to the really easy 45 kills you get in the directed mode. Now, I guess, again, technically I could have done my calculations wrong. Maybe there were like 15 seconds in between the waves here on these rounds. Maybe you could do these like really fast compared to me, and then maybe then it would be better. And maybe if we got a thing on every time, then it would be better than before. That's a lot of maybes. That's a lot of variables. That's a lot of ifs and buts and maybes. So on one hand, this nerf really isn't as bad as you think it is. But on the other hand, philosophically speaking, if directed mode was never more efficient and then they still nerfed it, that's almost kind of worse than you would have thought originally, I guess, depending on your view, because it means they nerfed something that was already inefficient to make it less efficient. But you know, that being said, as somebody who really loves the normal mode, and I really didn't grind all that much in directed mode, I'm kind of happy knowing that the normal mode is the best, most efficient way of doing this. Although, all of this being said, if we do go ahead, if there is some way to get a mangler every single round, even with this 30-second in between rounds, you would be more efficient than the normal mode here. So if there's a way to get that special enemy, that mangler, every single round, even after the nerf, it could be better than the normal mode. This is such an interesting thing to look at. They nerfed the mode technically, yes, but realistically, it didn't do all that much. It certainly feels, when you're playing in game, it feels really slow. That 30 seconds in between rounds, it feels really slow. So yeah, directed mode is not as destroyed or ruined as some people may think, which is good. But I think it's time for a recap. First and foremost, they increased the time in between rounds from about 20 seconds to 30 seconds. However, this only occurs after 5 waves of the same round. Secondly, I was not able to reset this during my testing. I save and quit multiple times, and I was always getting the 30-second in between times. Additionally, saving and quitting didn't seem to guarantee me any manglers whatsoever. I was getting incredibly infrequent and sparse manglers during this update. I don't know if that's new or not though. All of this combined means that this nerf is going to cost you about 200 to 250 zombies per hour, no matter if you're on round 11 or round 15. In terms of manglers, it's gonna cost you about 2 to 4 manglers per hour. That is, if you were able to get any manglers in the first place, unlike me. Which means that mathematically, directed mode is not the most efficient strategy to camo grind. However, according to what I found, it was never the most efficient way to camo grind. Instead, it was actually the easiest way to camo grind. You would get easy headshots, you would get one mangler at a time. It was very, very convenient. The normal mode, while being more technically efficient efficient, you have to deal with stronger zombies, armored zombies, multiple manglers at the same time, and you lose the ability to save and quit and just continue that game infinitely because eventually you'll reach health cap or zombies get really tough and it is really difficult. However, if you liked camo grinding in directed mode before, this nerf really didn't change anything too severely, which means if you liked that before, you can still do it now. However, I think this is very encouraging for people who play the normal mode. It's actually a pretty cool trade-off. You get a little bit more efficiency while playing the normal mode, but requiring a little bit more skill and challenge. But with the directed mode, yeah, you're not going to be as efficient, but it's going to be way easy, especially like I said, if you're luckier with manglers than I was. So overall, this was actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Now, if you have any conflicting data or stats that I completely forgot, or a strategy that I didn't do, like I said, I'm not a directed mode guy, so please let me know in the comment section below. And if you love more analytical looks at Black Ops 6, be sure to check out this video and stay beautiful.